Hey guys, Nick here, and I'm back for another Shark Sunday. And today I'm taking a look at Deep Blue Sea, a personal favorite of mine. I've been watching this one since its release. Always have a good time with it, so I'm excited to dive in. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any reviews or reactions that I put out. And let's dive right into this one. So Deep Blue Sea was released in 1999, and we get a pretty stacked cast here, if you ask me. We got Thomas Jane, LL Cool J, Saffron Burrows, Jacqueline McKenzie, Michael Rappaport, and of course Samuel L. Jackson. And this one was directed by the great Rennie Harlan. Yeah, so this one released in 99. I must have been around 9 or so when this was available to rent on VHS. Rented it and fell in love. It's just like a fun ride, and I always caught it when it was on TV. I had to watch it. And yeah, I'm pretty much a big fan of this flick. So the basic plot of this one, guys, is about these researchers in a undersea laboratory named Aquatica. They're genetically altering the brains of these sharks to try to develop a cure for Alzheimer's disease. Which a side effect of that, it makes the sharks super intelligent and smart. We also get a tropical storm that comes in, and it pretty much floods out the whole facility, allowing the sharks to escape and pick off the people one by one while they're trying to get out of the facility before it's completely flooded and they all drown. And these sharks have basically become these stinking killing machines out to take out the whole crew. And right off the bat, I just have to say I love the setting and the premise of this one. If you know me, anywhere where there's like an isolated place where the people are stuck and have to escape, I love that situation. And you can just really feel the urgency of these characters trying to escape with their lives. Whether it's not the sharks taking them out, it's the building collapsing on itself from all the pressure. And there's just something I really love about places flooding and people having to escape. Like there's scenes where the doors have the bolts and that are coming out of them with water shooting out because the pressure behind it. And I don't know, I just always love watching that, and it just brings out a fear in me, I guess, that I love witnessing and not experiencing. And this goes with like other movies like Titanic, like when the ship starts to sink and the water starts coming on. I just love the feeling, the mood you get off of it. It's really, there's a lot of danger in the air when when everything's collapsing on you with water. We also get a pretty great cast, like I mentioned in this one. Like Thomas Jane is playing one of our main leads, Carter, and he's like a shark wrangler. Like he's one of those crazy guys that jumps in the water and like gets on its fin and rides them and shit. And he's really our kind of shark expert in this film. And of course, Thomas Jane would go on to play other films that I love, like The Mist or The Punisher. Great film. So this was really the starting of his career blossoming out. Too bad it didn't exactly last very long. But yeah, this is the first movie I remember seeing him in. We also get Dr. Susan, played by Saffron Burrows, the beautiful Saffron Burrows. Damn, that scene where she has to get pretty much in her underwear and take off her clothes so she don't get electrocuted is amazing in a few different ways. But she's kind of hard-headed. She's the head scientist trying to find this cure for Alzheimer's. She's pretty ignorant to the fact that she created these killing thinking machines by genetically altering the sharks' brains. And even when they're all in danger and her crew is mostly all but dead, she still has her research on her mind. She's like, well, I ought to go save my research and my papers. It's like, damn woman. Like, didn't you cause enough trouble already? But she does have a nice arc with her character too, where everything comes back around, and I like the way it finishes off with her. And of course, we get Sam Jackson, who plays kind of like a president of like a pharmaceutical company who invested a lot of money into this program. So he goes to the facility to make sure everything's in check and there's progress. One of my personal faves in this film is the cook, played by LL Cool J. Yeah, he's always been my favorite character in this film. I get a big kick out of him. A lot of humor with his character. He also has like a pet parrot that he's trying to save while all shit's going down. And yeah, he's just a whole lot of fun. It's funny because he starts starring in these horror movies around this time with like H2O in this film. But yeah, I love his character. He has this religious aspect to him that works really well in this film. Like a lot of things happen in this facility or with the sharks, and there's that good and evil there. He always has his cross with him, and it's like he's praying and that, and it really makes you wonder if what he's doing is working. And he's basically stranded by himself for a good hour of the runtime without the rest of the crew, so he doesn't even have any help from anybody else. Now, the rest of the cast, I'm not going to talk about everybody, but everybody else is amazing too, from Michael Rappaport to all of them. They all do a really good job with what they're given, and I feel like they're written really well as well. Now let's get into the sharks. Now, for starters, these are mako sharks. They're not great white sharks, which you see in basically 99% of these thriller slash horror shark movies, which is a nice change up. And the way that they made them smart, it's like, wow, these sharks are even more scary than the great white sharks. And for the most part, the sharks are fairly practical, the effects. We do get digital effects, some CGI in there too. Some of it looks awful, but for the most part, it's not too bad considering this came out in '99. And we even get some footage of real sharks at times because the director and Thomas Jane both went out into the ocean cage diving with actual sharks to get some footage for this. So we get a good mix of real sharks, practical effects sharks, and digital CGI sharks. The only scene, which is super memorable, that has really noticeably bad CGI is the famous Sam Jackson scene where he's giving his big speech and the shark comes out of nowhere and grabs him. Uh, I mean, it's been used for so many memes and GIFs online with different things, and it's hilarious. And I let that one slide because I usually get pissed at the CGI sharks, but it's such a hilarious moment and it's so unexpected that I let that one slide. And funny enough, when it came out, I never noticed how bad the CGI was. But again, I was only like 9 or 10 years old. And this is just another one of those films like Jurassic Park that shows you do not mess with genetics and with God's creatures because you're just going to make things worse. And these sharks are 10 times more frightening than regular mako sharks to begin with, since they're so smart. Like, they can do things other sharks can't. Like, they know how to open locks, and they can figure things out to hunt down these crew members. And even like the fact that they can swim backwards and other sharks can't, it's just like, wow, they're really adapting and evolving. And by the end of this film, I'm always kind of surprised at who survives and who dies. It's a nice twist here and there with some characters that I don't see coming at all. I thought it was done really well because you don't want a predictable horror film when you know who's getting picked off, who's going to be your final girl or guy. But this one really changes things up, in my opinion, and the way things play out. And it's so hard to tell when you got such a stacked and entertaining cast that like who's gonna go first, because you're like, these are a lot of big names. Yeah, and overall, this movie is just so damn entertaining. I have such a fun time every time I put it on. It doesn't matter the mood I'm in, it always works. And it's just so nostalgic for me. So if I'm going to have to give this a rating, I'm going to go ahead and rate it an 8.5 out of 10. This is definitely in my top 3 shark movies of all time. And yeah, I just love the hell out of it. So give me your guys' thoughts on this film. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you have that nostalgia feeling that I have when I watch it? Drop it down below in the comments and let me know. Also, don't forget to follow me on Letterboxd if you're interested. A link will be in the description for that. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching.